Well, hey everybody, long time no see. I have not been busy with car stuff up until very recently, but as you can see, I went ahead and bought something I don't need. No, this is not the S54 from the blue car. It's a similar one, but I'll tell you the story once we unload it at my garage, where I have no cherry picker because I've lent 2 of the 3 that I own out to friends, none of which ever applied to me today. So my only other option is to go home, which is 35 miles away, get Mr. Wags, load up my 3rd picker in Mr. Wags, and then drive on the salty Minnesota roads to get all this sorted, which I have no desire to do today. So anyway, let me drive down to the garage and I'll show you guys my plan for getting this thing out of my car. Well, I've got a little bit I have to do. I'm gonna need the cart for sure, but step 1 is going to be using the lift effectively to get the engine out of the car. So I'm gonna have to move my M5 headlights here, which I'm not even sure I remember why they're not in the car right now. And then also this box of junk here. So let me take care of all that, get this a little bit more opened up, because the Model S is gonna have to be really pretty close to this when I end up lifting up the lift and backing it in. I guess it's an excuse to tidy up a little bit. All right, so hear me out. I'm pretty sure it'll work. Let me open the door, get the car backed in, and let's see. This is gonna take probably several trips of finessing just to get it backed in, to get the bar over top of the engine, then to get the engine strapped to the bar, then lift it up a little bit, then the car driven out. I just wish people would return my phone calls about my pickers. All right, so sketchy, sketchy, still sketchy. All right, let's get out and take a look. That's not too bad, but we definitely have to go up a little bit more. I'm gonna try to get it right around here. I didn't realize there's still an SMG pump on this thing. Come on, man. They did do the machining work, so this is a bona fide 6-speed now, but I don't have a ton of clearance, so I really want to make sure I get that bar as close as I can to keep it flat. That's looking pretty good, and it actually pushed in just a little bit. So get a strap or 2 over there and unload this, since it's in the way. We'll see. So I think this might rotate a little bit, but I gotta drive forward a little bit here, I think. Oh, stupid Tesla. All right, now we're gonna lift it up a little bit more. That's looking promising, actually, if the car will let me drive forward. Hell yeah, brother. Got her done. Sweet. Oh no. All right, now to get the cart and get that thing set down. Apparently it was leaking a little bit of oil, but no worries. I had blankets under it, thank God. Well, it worked. Oh, the lift doesn't seem to notice it too much. That's as fast as she'll go. Well, talk about an engine I do not need, but here it is. This, as you, I'm sure, have undoubtedly guessed, is an S54 B32. It is out of a 2003 Alpine White SMG Coupe. However, like I mentioned before, the transmission has had the machining work done to make it into a 6-speed manual. Very, very common practice these days because of the cost of the genuine 6-speed manuals. It had 190,000 miles on it, no real records other than it did have the rod bearing recall done on it at one point. So who knows when that was, what the bearings currently look like. Given how clean the pan is and how little it leaks, I'm inclined to believe that this probably only has about 50K on the bearings, but we're still probably going to check them out. And I would love to pull the valve cover as well, even though that gasket doesn't leak a drop, and it irks me to make one of these leak. But I would like to check out the condition of the Vanos exhaust drive gear, because that, as you guys know, is a bit of an Achilles heel. And then I also would like to just preventatively do cam bolts on it as well, which is a really big problem for these. and then probably just fog the cylinders with oil and get it ready for longer term storage, because as you guys know, I have another S54 sitting right there. Why did I buy it? Well, the price was good. I actually got an inquiry on my other S54 earlier in this year from somebody that works at the dealer, and I didn't sell it just because it was a customer car, not for his own uses. But I looked up at the time how much these things were going for, and oh boy, is this not 2015 anymore. This bad boy is probably worth on the order of $4,000 to $6,000 as it sits right now, and I paid about half of that. So anyway, there she sits. And yeah, I'm realizing I've also kind of given away or put on loan most of my engine stands, so I don't really have a spot to put it. However, Classic Daily is currently working on the K parts again for the 1600, so there is a chance I will actually be able to put that engine in my E10 at some point in the near-ish future, and that will free up an engine stand as well. But if not, I don't know, I'll find something. I may still have a part sitting in my my garage at home. I still have the N52 sitting there for Brexit. The dude in Ohio that had the CAD drawings and everything for the pan ghosted me, can't find him anymore, so I don't know what the future holds on that swap, which is irksome. The Mercedes I left down here last time because you guys know the fog lights and the electric fan weren't working. So I ended up buying just one of these cheapo all-in-one relay fuse holders here, and I'm going to replace the fuse holder in the car and then one by one strip out the wires for those two circuits and replace them with new proper wiring, connectors, everything like that, just to see if I can get the momentum going internally to replace all of the wiring in the engine computer setup, which is a Micro Squirt 2 V3, and boy, once I got it running, I just sort of shoved it all up under the dash. So it's real ugly. Car's still working just fine. Reliability concerns, I still do need to get an idler pulley because it keeps tossing belts from the alternator. I don't think that'll be too hard. Should be able to laser scan and get a bracket 3D printed and then machined as well after that. That should keep the belts from flying off to keep the battery charging. Other than that, dude, like, it probably needs an oil change. It hasn't done any miles, but it's been a decade, so that 5.5 is probably really happy with that 5W30 conventional Supertech Walmart oil I threw in there when I got it running. So the Blubzki is probably next-ish. I would really love to work on the E10. We'll see again if JK Classic Daily actually gets done jigging all those parts. If so, then I'm sure he will very promptly ship me my parts back. But I would love to actually drive one of these cars at some point. I know I say that every year, and it's been 4 years now since I've actually worked on this car in any meaningful capacity. I put in these fuel lines and brake lines in January of 2020. And yeah, that was 4 years ago, folks. So anyway, N52. That's right, I got to take the original Fiat intercooler home, just throw that in the part of junk. This is the kind of crap that nobody's ever going to put back in the car. But if I throw it away, and if I ever sell that car, it's the first thing somebody's going to ask for. So I will go throw it in the pile of goodies. I do still have spark plugs and some new chamfered screws for the Ferrari, as well as a new set of Kingsborn wires. The car actually ran fine when I put it away last year, but it's due for plugs and wires again. So we'll see. I bought the highly recommended Motronic 5.2 plugs. Then I bought some garbage as well. So I'm not sure what I'm going to throw in first, but I have both. What else? Phantom still has issues with the transmission. However, I saw a email from FCP the other day saying, hey, does your ZF6 do flaring and knocking out a gear and things like that? It was like a B2 piston repair kit. So I think, unfortunately, I'm going to have to pull the bottom of the trans apart again, pull the valve body out again, and then open it up physically and do some sort of piston repair kit or something. I'm still trying to psych myself up. I might just take that thing into a dealer and buy once, cry once. So we'll see. Strut bar for the E30 M3. This all came with the S54 here. Well, it came with it. I paid for it, obviously. But it's nice to get a set of factory headers. Those are almost impossible to find now, too. Like I said, the 420G to complement my old SMG that has not had the machining work done just yet. I ordered another battery for the e-Vader. So I've got one of these 21700 packs here. It's about 2.5 kilowatt hours. The issue I had was it uses an XT60 connector and the amperage was just too much for it. So I bought another one and I'm going to make a double XT60 into XT90 connector. I have all the parts in the battery box. So they're like $500 for the battery. Just took a while to have enough extra free fun money to actually get that going, but I did order it. So hopefully you guys will see more content from the regular oval bore channel here pretty soon. Trying to just convince myself to get some momentum going here. My winter hobby takes a lot of my time, and that's on a completely separate channel. So I do apologize for letting this channel atrophy a little bit. I'm not letting it die on the vine, but I refuse to make content for content's sake. So yeah, there's my newest pickup. I'm gonna go home now and beat traffic, but I'm gonna let that bad boy drip dry into the Blackstone container, because if I can get enough oil out of this, I would actually love to send it in and see what kind of condition this thing is in. So I'll catch you guys all soonish. Have a good late winter, early spring. In the meantime, otherwise.